All right, everyone, I've got another incoherent list here that I've got to analyze among, a million other lists of the top 10 Democrats, top 20 Democrats or whatever that are going to run in 2020. This is why, Kamala Harris will be the next nominee. This is why Hillary Clinton out of nowhere. I saw an article the other day. I'll be separately analyzing this about Hillary Clinton. I mean, it's a laugh and a half. It's well thought out. It's long and detailed and well structured. And, Clinton's 10 remaining fans will probably love it and eat it up and share it around endlessly on their, cat shit posting pages on Farcebook. But it's not going to happen. This list, like many other incoherent lists, puts at number 1 Bernie Sanders. Now, this ignores polling because he's in number 3 as far as polling among actual lay Democrats. If the polling itself, again, think of this for just a moment. If you ask the Democrats, just generic Democrats in polling, who they think would be best as a candidate, they put Joe Biden in the number 1 slot. Hillary Clinton is number 2 with Bernie Sanders number 3. 3 people who are all in their 70s, number 1. One of them's a socialist, one of them's lost twice already, and one of them would actually be almost 80 years old at the time and is a chronic bungler. These are the sort of people that at least half the Democratic Party think are acceptable to lead it. Think about that for a moment. In fact, I think a little bit more than half. A little bit more than half of Democrats want one of those 3 individuals. It could come down to a situation that the article I'll be referring to separately in the main video of the day, at least on YouTube. I'm going to be doing an exclusive for BitChute and Steam It later as well. Stay tuned. At least, according to that, it's possible that Hillary Clinton, if she runs, which I don't think she will, could end up literally becoming the nominee. And it's exciting to think of because it'd be a total freak show. It'd be the most funny election ever. She would immediately begin losing. She'd do worse than last time. It would be hilarious. It'd be like a rematch of the century. But I don't think we're that lucky, unfortunately. But Bernie Sanders keeps appearing at or near the top of these lists, totally undeservedly. He has already said he does not intend to run and would decline the nomination if it was given to him. That is, you couldn't even draft him in there. He probably won't even be alive by 2020. He's like, yeah, I'll seek re-election in the midterms as a Democrat. The dude is in his mid-70s, okay? At some point he develops dementia, has a stroke or something. Even slight health problems can hold someone back from mounting a successful presidential bid. Even suspected health problems. It's like Hillary Clinton. She can walk, most of the time. Most of the time she's able to string a sentence together. But she had, the health problems that she displayed, which is, I had heat stroke because I had pneumonia or something. And it's like, well, then why the fuck are you even on the campaign trail if you're that sick? Those health problems, I think, in part, were responsible for her losing the presidency. That and the fact that she didn't show up at half her rallies and blew a lot of states off. It's really why she lost. She's weak and non-energetic. She'd do the same, by the way, if she's the 2020 candidate, which would be, hilarious. It's like she just stopped campaigning. She'd be like Mitt Romney in the last 2 months of the election then. But Bernie Sanders is not eligible under the DNC rules. He is not a Democrat, and there are a lot of neoliberals that would never vote for him anyway. What we saw in 2016, another reason why Hillary Clinton suffered is that a lot of people who are actually on the left refused to vote for her. They stayed home, or they wrote in Bernie Sanders, or they defected to Jill Stein or Gary Johnson on ideological principles, or they even defected to Trump to punish the Democratic Party. And so this is one, I would say, fairly significant reason why Hillary Clinton lost. Imagine, though, for a moment the candidate had been Sanders. And then all of the sexist Clinton fans, the pink hat wearers who are like, I'm a strong woman and nothing else will do, those people probably wouldn't have voted for Bernie Sanders. They would have said, another boring old white male leading the Democratic Party. I'm just going to fucking stay home. Or they would have defected to the Green Party or the Libertarians or voted for Trump to punish what they would see as a sexist DNC. They can't win. As long as there's one strong, empowered female candidate willing to take up gender as their main platform, the Democratic Party is going to keep having problems. The same is true if someone injects race into it, because invariably they're not going to be able to pacify all these people. And if they found a candidate, if they found their Kamala Harris, they put Maxine Waters in the position, they're going to scare off all the business Democrats. Wonderful. If this is why I said Bernie Sanders wouldn't have fared that much better than Hillary Clinton against Trump. Honestly, polling aside, fuck the polling. Because there would have been a lot of Democrats defecting. It probably would have been a larger number at that point. Yeah, he would have reabsorbed a lot of those youth votes. He might not have lost so handily among business Democrats. He wouldn't have been able to make up for lost time. He would have won an extra couple of states, but he still would have lost the election. He probably would have managed to hold on to Wisconsin. He might have held on to Michigan. It wouldn't have overall been enough. That's my own opinion. If Bernie Sanders were to be rigged in there, what it would do is scare away some millions of centrist Democrats. They'd say, oh, the dude's an avowed socialist. Well, Trump's right. They really are unhinged. They're going really, really far left. These are people who they feel more comfortable with neoliberalism. Even someone like Pelosi occasionally rankles some of these Democrats. A lot of people think that the Democratic Party is hegemonic, that all Democrats are just standard, center-left individuals. No, there are people in there that are full centrists or even center-right that simply traditionally vote Democrat. A lot of them, they're called Reagan Democrats. They defected to vote for Trump. Not all of them, but a lot of them. If the rest do that, well, he holds the Rust Belt. What the fuck's Bernie Sanders going to do? If he can't win Wisconsin or Michigan or Pennsylvania, he can't crack into Ohio or Indiana, which at this point they're red states basically, and maybe even loses Minnesota, it doesn't really matter if he picks up an Arizona or manages to pick up a North Carolina or even grab Florida. At that point, it wouldn't matter. It just wouldn't matter. There aren't enough votes for the Democrats at that point. That's why when people talk about, oh, there's going to be a blue Texas. No, there's more likely to be a red California because of the current paradigm shift. Texas is holding red despite the fact that the Republicans have completed their transformation, probably for the next 15, 20 years. So I wouldn't be worried about it. Demographics be damned. Trump will probably win more Hispanic votes this next time around than he did before. A lot of people in the Democratic Party, again, sort of the Democratic plantation thing, they think that there's a strong connection between legal immigrants, second, third generation families, and people who literally jumped over a fence to get here. They think that there's a strong connection. They couldn't be more wrong. That's why they suffered losses the last time around. The Young Turks were having a mental breakdown on election night because of this. They're like, oh yeah, Obama won, what was it? Some insane number. He won like 72, 73% of Hispanic voters. Trump managed to cut that lead for Clinton down to below 2/3. It was in the low 60s. That's significant. And it's probably going to keep going in that direction. You know what a lot of Americans want, regardless of their race, creed, or gender? They want jobs. And they want some degree of stability. Well, they've got it. Job market's up. Stock market's up. Job creation is going along fine. The economy is growing at a faster pace. We're not in any major wars. A lot of people are going to vote for the status quo, especially with the tax cuts. If Trump comes along after the midterms and really does do tax cut 2.0 and says, well, it's good, but it's not enough. I want to give you even more of your money back, and I want to crush some of these bureaus out. Oh yeah, he'll be reelected just on that alone. He probably doesn't even need a major foreign policy accomplishment. Sending Pompeo over to North Korea, it's great. North Korea can respond in kind. People are all messed up about that right now because they're like, oh, the plan has fallen through. They insulted Pompeo. What did they do before? They insulted Mike Pence on the eve of the summit. The summit still went through. Things are just fine. This is normal for North Korea. Don't worry about it too much. Words shouldn't matter. It's if they start firing off missiles again and running their subs all around an aircraft carrier, then it's a problem. Until then, color me unsurprised. I'm not antagonized by that sort of stuff, and I know that Trump's not either. And it could just be theater. It could be, hey, this can be funny. Let's troll the media a little bit. Get them to talk about, your peninsula, and then, big changes happen, and then they have to cover it because they're already talking about it. It'd be really funny. Bernie Sanders will in no way, shape, or form be running against Donald Trump. He's too old, he's too far left, and he's already run. People for decades wanted him to run. He should have run back in the 2000s. He should have challenged Bush. He should have gone up in 2004, and he would have crushed John Kerry. He probably would have become the president of the United States. He could have done it at that point because of the Iraq War specifically. Or in 2008. Oh, he could have easily done it in 2008. He would have crushed Obama and Hillary Clinton at that point. Hillary Clinton in her prime couldn't have stood up a candle against him at that point. He would have won. He would have sucked the air right out of the room for them. He's too old. He waited too long. Sorry for that. Trump could have run, a decade ago. He probably would have, by the way, at the time been a fairly well-respected president. He wouldn't have been treated the same way he is now by the press. He wouldn't have needed to devolve into the sort of attention-seeking thing in order to keep him at bay. Could have done that. Yeah, absolutely. It would have been funny. He could have been literally the Stern Universe president. It would have been hilarious. It's like, oh yeah, and the inauguration being covered by Baba Booey. No, Bernie Sanders isn't going to get in there, though. No, absolutely not. Neither, by the way, will Joe Biden. Joe Biden's not going to be the Democratic nominee. If he were by some miracle to get in there, it would be funny. I hope that he does. I hope that it's a Bernie Sanders, a Joe Biden, or a Hillary Clinton, the top three there, because all of them would lose. And they would lose in a fantastic red wave fashion. And it would be hilarious, because then the Democrats would crash and burn and reform their party. They're not worth voting for until that happens. Why do you think millennials are steadily abandoning the Democrats? They're not. It's like, yeah, back when Colbert was on TV early on and Obama was cryptically referring to pot, wow, man, the Democrats are cool. But now, there are other people that are, way further beyond, like libertarians or even Donald Trump. Democrats are just lame, boring. That's about all. Peace out.